Welcome to First Time Watching. The Fuzzies is based on the 2021 short film with the same name, and now the director, Josh Funk, finally had the budget to bring these furry little bastards to life. In the movie, we follow a couple of childhood friends who reunite at the estate of their famous friend to mourn her passing. But there they come face to face with their friend's furry collection. So if you want an explanation of the ending, please like, subscribe, and hit that hype button as we kick it off with a movie recap. An interviewer wants to know about the friendship between Sonny and Miss Shirley. Shirley calls their form of friendship the Fuzzies and thinks it's the most beautiful thing in the world. Mary is working when she hears on the news that Shirley Drysdale passed away. Her phone rings. It's her girlfriend Rose. She is upset about Shirley's passing. After work, Rose and Mary wait at the attorney's for their friend Mick. He pulls up in his trashy truck and greets the ladies. They meet with the attorney, Miss Fields, because Shirley left them some final instructions before she passed away. The reason they gathered is not because of Shirley's substantial assets. It's because of a whole other specific request. In the letter, she leaves her summer cabin to Mick and Rose, which was passed down to her by her grandparents. In addition, she will leave all the personal effects in and around the cabin to them, under the condition that they locate Sonny, who resides at that home. Mary doesn't understand. Rose hasn't spoken to Shirley in over 15 years. She hasn't even been invited to the funeral. Miss Fields doesn't really understand it either. But that doesn't matter. What does matter is that even while alive, Shirley did not know where Sonny was, just that she was convinced it had to be in her summer cabin. If they find the puppet, they may choose to keep it, but it would be in their best interest to sell the puppet and the cabin after finding it so that they can split up the money equally. People are willing to buy Sonny for over $500,000, and that is just a small part of the unique memorabilia that resides within the cabin. On the way to the cabin, Rose stares at a childhood picture of her, Mick, and Shirley as they stop in the middle of nowhere. They follow the arrows in the woods to the cabin. It looks kinda normal, but not on the inside. There it looks like an underachieving art student had free reign. They go around, but this cabin keeps getting weirder and weirder as they progress until they run into a painting of Sonny. Mary checks the bathroom where she finds a human-sized nutcracker in the shower. While Mick checks another bathroom, there is a creepy children's painting on the wall. And then Mary and Rose pick a room to stay for the night so that they can check what might be valuable. This looks like a puzzle room, which reminds Rose of a segment in Shirley's show where kids would submit puzzles that they tried to solve. Mick calls out that he found Shirley's room. They find a playhouse for the puppet there. There is a tiny Sonny in there, but after Mick spooks Mary and Rose, it's gone. They talk about how creepy it was that they faked Sonny's death next to Shirley's death by showing a smaller casket next to hers when Mick finds a stash of children's drawings. Rose has a strange feeling with that dollhouse, but they follow Mick to the hot air balloon room. That's where he'll be sleeping. Mary thinks it's time to liven up the mood with maybe some drinks and snacks. It's dinner time. Rose is glazing over Shirley and acts like she wasn't completely insane. And during their conversation, it becomes quite clear that Mick and Rose aren't really friends anymore, and Mick doesn't really like Rose's girlfriend Mary either. After dinner, they find the tapes of her old episodes. Mary runs off to the car to get her glasses, while Mick and Rose try to pick an episode, but they all sound a little macabre. So Mary picks Sonny Learns About Friendship. Rose explains to them what the show is about. She is a teacher and watches Shirley all the time with her kids, except in this episode. Shirley doesn't follow her normal segment. Instead, she greets Rose, Mick, and Mary. She welcomes them to Sonny's sidekicks, and then the doorbell rings. Mick opens the door. It's the mailman. They wonder what he is doing there in the middle of nowhere. He tells them it's a shame that she passed away, and he came to deliver a care package. Meanwhile, Rose rewinds the tape to rewatch that part where she greeted them personally, but the tape glitches. At that exact moment, the mailman grabs a basket behind a tree, puts it in front of them, and wishes them a lovely tonight and a splendid tomorrow. They take the basket inside. There is a bunch of candy in it. They toast and spend the night playing with Shirley's toys, eating candy and getting their buzz on. They play tape after tape of her show until the night takes a serious turn. It's time to talk about money. Rose is gonna travel and sponsor Mary's new magazine, while Mick will invest in Winnebago's. Rose asks Mick when was the last time he spoke to Shirley. It has to be junior year in high school. usual. He wrote to her during college, but she was probably too famous by then and didn't react to his letter. So they are wondering why she picked them, because she never contacted them. She should have had a bunch of new friends that she was closer with. Mick thinks it's because of the puppet. She took that thing everywhere. He was actually kind of scared of it. Rose thinks she needed Sonny after her parents died. She still feels bad about that night in the basement. It was the first time they saw Sonny. They were playing spin the bottle, and Mick put Sonny in the circle and kissed the doll like crazy. Shirley swore she was okay with it, but it was clear she was mortified by his actions. Mick tries to brush it under the rug, which kinda gives Rose and Mary the ick, so they go to bed. Mick falls asleep in the living room and wakes up when the TV starts playing a commercial from one of the dolls, and then switches to Shirley. Behind him, something moves, and then the same mailman is on her show. Mick stumbles into the bathroom with the picture of them when they were kids. He pours some cocaine onto the frame and snorts it off, and then he takes a piss. He looks at the painting of the boy straight in the eyes, and it starts smiling. The bathroom door locks, and the towel attacks Mick. It crawls around and tries to choke him, and then a puppet hand comes from a drawer. Mick manages to shake it off and throws the towel in the toilet. One of the drawers keeps shaking, so he opens it, and there are a bunch of hairs moving around. The kid is gone from the painting. Mick thinks he is hallucinating and laughs when a doll comes from the toilet. It splashes doo-doo water into his face. There is a Mick doll peeing. He turns around, then the dolls grab him and pull him into the toilet. The next morning, Mary and Rose find Mick outside. He wakes up and thinks he went a little too hard last night. He tells them he dreamed that he was attacked by a puppet, but they do not believe him. While the girls go for a walk, Mick goes back inside and takes that creepy painting from the bathroom and locks it in the closet. During their walk, Rose wonders if Shirley might have killed herself, but Mary doesn't believe that, and then they find a basement window. They didn't know the house had a basement, so they go back inside to look for it, and Mary finds a secret door in the back of a closet. There's a new hallway hidden behind it. Meanwhile, Mick is looking around in Shirley's room and finds a photo album. The hallway they stumbled into is kind of a museum with dolls from the show that leads to a door at the end, but one of them attacks the glass, which cuts Mary's finger, so she goes back while Rose stays. Mary goes to the bathroom to bandage her finger, and then returns to Rose to try and open the door. They need a key to get in. Mick walks in and tells them he found a photo album, but Shirley doesn't look happy in any of the pictures. Rose is thinking she believes Shirley might have left the house to them because she didn't want them to sell Sonny. But that night, Rose dreams of scary versions of the puppets. They show her a puzzle piece and the mailman. She sees Shirley and Sonny, and then she wakes up and looks at the puzzle on the wall. One of the pieces is missing. Rose makes her way to the secret hallway and smiles. The next morning, Mary wakes up when she notices Rose is gone. She finds her sitting in the living room, and she scares awake. There is something off about her, so Mary tells her to pack her things. They leave today. Mary puts Rose in the car, but when she checks on Rose, she is gone again. She wandered into the forest. She is looking at a dying version of the mailman doll. Mick comes running as Rose collapses. They have to get out of there. They all jump in their cars, but the cars won't start, so they run back into the cabin and lock the doors. Mick tries some of the phones, but none of them work while Mary tries to calm Rose down. Mick thinks it might be Shirley. Maybe she faked her death, but Rose tells them it isn't her. It's Sonny. She wants to play with them. She tells Mary they have to take Sonny home with them, else she won't let them leave. But Mick and Mary want to just sit it out. The next morning, the attorney will arrive, and she will be able to give them a ride. That night, Mick takes another look around when he hears a music box jingle in Shirley's room. The sound is coming from Sonny's home. There is a key jingling in it. Meanwhile, in the living room, a basket appeared with a final tape named Hi Friends. So Rose pops it in the VCR. Mick grabs the key and the music stops. It's a video of Shirley apologizing to Sonny. She can't let her out if she behaves like that. The door behind Mick slams shut. They run to find Mick, but he is locked in Shirley's room. When he takes the key, the music starts playing again. A rope comes from the ceiling and grabs him by the neck. The house bites him, and he gets split in two. So the girls grab the key. Rose tells Mary they have to stop Sonny, so they arm themselves with an axe, scissors, and a needle, and then make their way to the secret hallway. The door closes behind them, and the dolls come to life. They taunt them. It's time to fight back. The Candyman grabs Mary, but she manages to split the Candyman in two, and Rose stabs the two-headed monstrosity while they cut it apart. Rose runs to unlock the door, and the two of them go through. They are in the basement from the video. Rose goes down while Mary watches the door. Sonny is sitting there on the chair, facing the wall. Rose calls out to her. She asks Sonny if she remembers her, Shirley's friend. She tells her that making new friends can be scary, but she wants to be her friend. She just wants to talk, get to know her. Mary screams at Rose to just kill her, but she gets pulled under the stairs. Just as Sonny starts singing, Rose tries to reach out to her lover, but she has been dismembered, and her arm and leg walk off. So Rose sits down on the chair behind Sonny, and the chair moves her into the corner. Sonny disappears, and becomes a drawing on the wall. She turned into a creepy hag version of herself. Rose gets back up to watch the drawing. She tells Rose that she thought she was pretending, but she never woke up. Her friends didn't want to play with her anymore. Rose asks Sunny if she hurt Miss Shirley like she did her friends, but Sunny tells her she would never hurt Miss Shirley. Sunny tells her that sometimes she is happy and forgets, but Miss Shirley never forgot. After her parents died, Shirley needed someone, and they weren't there for her. They left her behind. She was in so much pain. She wanted every hurt child to know that they had a friend. Rose begs Sunny she would like to go home now, but Sunny wants to play a game with her and appears back on the chair. So Rose picks her up off of the chair and hugs Sunny. On the TV, a new episode of Sunny airs, but Shirley has been replaced by her new friend, Miss Rose. Alright, so let's talk about that ending, because this is where the Fuzzy stops pretending to be a weird puppet horror movie and goes full-on fuzzy nightmare. By the time we reach the finale, it's pretty clear that this isn't just about killer mascots or some cursed kids show. What we're actually dealing with is something much more abstract and honestly way more unsettling. The house, the show, the Fuzzies, all of it is tied to this idea of emotional energy. Specifically, that warm, nostalgic feeling Shirley calls the Fuzzies. That sense of comfort, friendship, safety, the kind of feeling you only really have as a kid. But here's the twist. Those feelings don't just exist. In this world, they manifest. And that's where Sunny comes in. Sunny isn't just a puppet. Sunny is the physical embodiment of the Fuzzies themselves. Think about it. She's always positioned as the heart of the group, the one who brings everyone together, the one who makes things feel safe. But as the movie goes on, that warmth starts to feel off, because Sunny doesn't just represent those feelings, she feeds on them. That's why the environment gets more distorted the longer they stay. The cabin isn't just haunted, it's reacting, almost like it's alive. Because, in a way, it is. It's being sustained by the emotional residue of everyone who's ever watched her, especially the kids who grew up loving the show. And Sunny? She's at the center of it. By the ending, when everything fully unravels, we realize that Sunny has been orchestrating the return of Shirley's friends. Because without Shirley, she is stuck. She blames Rose and Mick for not sticking with their friend, but she also needs someone to replace her. Because if the Fuzzies stop, Sunny stops existing. And that's a wrap. Please like, subscribe, and hit that hype button, and I'll see you next time.